Hey friends, week 5 here of my YouTube challenge. In full confession, I actually recorded this video earlier. I was properly dressed, had my face on, all that, and I recorded 3 videos because, as you may remember from this YouTube challenge, we're trying to train ourselves to do some batch recording. So I got all those videos recorded, patting myself on the back, feeling super proud, sat down to edit the first one, and there's no sound on any of them. I backed up. I tried to figure out what I did wrong, figured it was how I uploaded it. Anyway, turns out there's no sound on those videos, so they are out the door. So I will talk about the tool I used for that next week, and this is the start of week 6. But let me get back to week 5. So this YouTube challenge, just as a reminder, is about monetizing or doubling your income in 3 months. Now, my channel isn't yet monetized, so that's what I'm going for. I got a ways to go. I've got 7 subscribers and you need 1,000, but I'm only gonna get there by putting these videos out. So the other suggestions by the people that run the course that I took, and I'll leave details in the description, are to double your output. So if you're doing 1 video a week, go to 2, which is what I've done. Add 25% to your video length, which I've hit pretty much. So that's great. There's a win. It's also to, let me think if I can remember this here. Oh, use an opportunity in your niche to create a video from. And I've done that with a federal mini series where people can look for self-coaching tools and offering tools for dealing with the federal anxiety. So there's a mini series there, and I'll leave a link to that as well. And also making an investment in your channel or in something that you could make videos from. So for instance, the people hosting the course went and invested in 3 hotel rooms so they could do a hotel comparison. So things like that. So it's been a good video, and my wins this week are that I did do some of the batch videoing and I did do the longer video. I know I'm forgetting one component, but we're just we're just gonna run with this today. I will say this week though, and I go into a lot more detail in this in one of my federal videos, but I am with a federal adjacent entity, and we had our first round of layoffs this week. So over 100 of my colleagues were fired on Monday, and there was no notice. So that really shook up the week a bit. And one of the tools I used, which I again talk about in this video, was sort of holding space for people's reaction um, with that event. And what I mean by holding space, and I know my skeptics out there are probably rolling their eyes at that, but is really just a place to allow people to listen and be in the moment without rushing to fix it. And if you're a coaching kind of person, want to help people, that could take some time to get used to learn that practice. And so I would let people have the reactions. I had a couple people contact me to me know that they had been one of the unfortunates that lost their jobs, and also just colleagues having various reactions between anger and distrust and sadness, grief. And so I do feel like I used that tool to kind of allow for that space, and also for myself. I had kind of a range of emotions. I mean, we all knew that this might happen, so nobody was completely surprised, but it's the first time our particular entity had to make these kind of decisions. So that's one of the tools I used. And then the other tool that came up for me as well, and again, these are tools related to how I'm managing my mind to keep showing up for this YouTube challenge despite the rest of my life existing, which feels a little unsettled at the moment, if I'm truthful. But the tool I used was appreciation. And I haven't done a video or necessarily mentioned this in one of my other offerings, but what I mean by appreciation is that kind of formal acknowledgement of the merit or value of something. And for me, it feels a little bit different than gratitude, which is also a great tool and state to be in. Grateful and gratitude to me means being kind of thankful for something, like thankful that I didn't lose my job, thankful for people having backup plans, thankful for some particular state or object. And you can be grateful and feel gratitude without necessarily feeling appreciation, if that makes sense. there seems to be like a fuller weight to appreciation for me. And it's a conscious and thoughtful acknowledgement. And so, what I did in that moment, as I could see people spinning out and even myself kind of becoming a little disengaged or irritable, is I sat down and really kind of did a formal practice of writing down. And I've shared before that I keep a journal. I will offer some tips on journaling in one of my series coming up. But I sat down and wrote down the things I appreciated, and I do this kinda regularly, particularly if I notice, like, a series of journal entries that are kind of on the negative side or, I just need to reset, and I'll just list a number, and it's usually a stretch, it's like 25 or fill a page of things that I'm appreciative for, and it really does have a different kind of feeling in my body, a different kind of weight to it than gratitude. Both are great, again, but appreciation kinda has that recognizing is, so it seems to be to me more profound and lasting. And a pro tip I will talk about just for a second is I also will wedge and kind of sandwich in between some of those appreciating what I have. So, like, appreciate that I have a job, appreciate that my team has not yet been impacted, appreciate that my colleagues have, some safety nets. Appreciate I have a house, appreciate that my commute's not too far, all those things. What I might do is kinda sandwich in between those something that I do want, something that I'll appreciate when I get it. So, for instance, I've added to that list, I appreciate the fact that I participated in this, YouTube challenge. I appreciate the fact that I'm getting better at making videos. I appreciate the fact that I didn't completely melt down when I realized all the volume on all these videos was gone, had disappeared. It just led me to realize I need to do that kind of check, check, check for all videos for every kind of recording, which of course I did for this one. So, if you have enjoyed this video, listening to the tools I'm using in this challenge, if you have a lofty goal you're trying to make, you have milestones you're working towards, feel free to subscribe. Tell me about your challenge in the comments and let me know what tools you might be using. I can use everything I can get. And thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you in week 6. Thanks so much. Bye.